forms, these things called job action sheets. Does anybody use any job action sheets right now? No? Now, anyone ever heard of job action sheets? Okay, so if you're appointed a role in one of these as one of these incident command functions, right? So let's say somebody says you're the operations section chief, and you'll go, okay, great. What does that mean? What am I doing? What am I responsible for? Well, those major responsibilities should be put into a job action sheet. And if you go to any hospital and you say, hey, let me see your Hicks cabinet, they will go over and they will show you this cabinet. And all of their predetermined incident command positions, they have a clipboard, they have the job action sheet, and any forms and documents and stuff that position has to fill out is all right there. So as they're quickly building out their incident command team, and say you're operations section chief, you're the staging area manager, you're the medical care branch director, you're the logistics section chief, those people just go, okay, great. And they go over to the cabinet and they pull out all their stuff that they need to actually do that role. And they read their job action sheet real quick so they know, okay, this is what I'm supposed to get done here. And they go and do it. All right, so we have to do those sorts of things for your particular agencies as well. Have a cabinet or a cart that's all put together so that when we're calling a whatever disaster codes that you guys use, we're going to do an evacuation, so we're going to implement incident command. I'm the incident commander. I know I can go right over and read a job action sheet that tells me step by step how I kind of get this thing up and running, and those types of things. Okay, and there's a lot of stuff already out there for you. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Okay? Even if you just go off of the hospital incident command system, you can kind of pick and choose what positions or roles that you want. The job action sheets are already done. All the forms and all that sort of thing are already there. So the job action sheets aren't going to tell you every single thing that you're supposed to do during a disaster, because they would be like 400 pages long, right? Because every disaster is a little bit different. But it tells you how you're supposed to function in the incident command team. All right? And what job action sheets you have pre-developed and ready to go really kind of depends on the size of your institution and what disasters you think you're going to have to respond to. Okay, this is what the hospital incident command system, how their job action sheets look. Basically starts off with at the top, it says what the position is, what their mission is, and then some blocks that you can fill in the information here. Okay, and then their steps or action steps that you're supposed to follow, kind of broken into an immediate, an intermediate, and extended, and demobilization categories. Okay, but you can change those, modify those however you might want to, but it's a place for you to start. Okay. The challenge you're going to have is, when you implement incident command, is having your staff actually read and follow the job action sheet. So you do have to do some customization, because it has to make sense for your particular institution. There might be steps in those job action sheets that just don't make sense for your particular organization. So you do have to change those and modify those. Okay? At the end of the job action sheet, it should have all the tools or documents that position needs to be successful. So if they need to have a radio, communicate with fire and EMS when they come in, then make sure they have access to that. And make sure it's at the bottom of their job action sheet, their tools section. So it tells them what they need right off the bat to be successful in their role. All right, I think I covered that. Customize them. All right, there's a lot of forms that are involved in the incident command system. You can pick and choose whatever forms you want to use. If you need a form to be able to track patients quickly during an emergency, there's a patient tracking form, patient evacuation form. There's all kinds of forms. There's like 30 or 40 different forms that you can use to help you in all of these positions. Okay, so you don't even have to recreate any of that stuff. It's already there for you. If you need to make sure that your financial people are tracking all of your time, your overtime, any expenses that you've incurred, there's all kinds of forms that you can have them use to track all that stuff. So at the end of the incident, they can just hand that over to Mark and say, hey, I need $300,000 and here's all my documentation. And he'll say, okay, sure. Here's all your money. Okay, but most importantly, forms save lives and they save careers. Okay, especially in the roles that you play, that you guys are in. Okay, right now, what's been happening since 2005 in Louisiana, are a bunch of extended care facilities and hospitals and all kinds of medical facilities are embroiled in lawsuits. All right, you didn't do enough to prepare. You didn't respond soon enough. You should have evacuated sooner. When you did evacuate, it took you too long. Okay, and they're really vulnerable because they didn't write anything down. Okay, and that's one of our biggest challenges with the incident command system, or with healthcare agencies responding to disasters, is we have this misnomer in our heads that we're responding to a disaster. It's an emergency, so we can kind of forego some things, and it's okay. But it's not okay, okay? Lawyers have learned. We can come in and get some money after disasters, okay? So we have to make sure we're doing better documentation, especially when you're notified of information, important stuff. Like, you were notified on Tuesday at 9 a.m. that the county is under a flood watch, and the County Emergency Operations Center opened up, or a flood warning, or whatever, and what you did to respond to them, okay? And then you were notified that your facility is going to be underwater tomorrow at noon, you know, at